right, good evening, everybody. We'll call this Monday, November 27th, 2023 meeting of the Lake Havasu City Parks and Recreation Advisory Board to order. If you could all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, thank you. Move on to item number 3, the roll call.
Sherry Butler is excused. Kyler Cox.
Here.
Mercedes Kaiser.
Here.
Jason Mitchell is excused. Shannon Murray.
Here.
Ashley Pasquale.
Here.
Alex Ross.
Here.
Philip Shannon.
Here.
And Vice Mayor David Lane.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to the call to the public. We'll now have an open call to the public for citizens wishing to address the board on issues within the jurisdiction of the board. Your comments must be limited to 3 minutes or less. If you wish to address an item already on today's agenda, you should wait until that item is announced for a public hearing. At the conclusion, of the open call to the public, individual members of the board may respond to criticism made by those who address the board, may ask staff to review a matter, or may ask that a matter be placed on a future agenda. However, board members cannot discuss or take legal action on matters not already on the agenda. That being said, I'll open it up to the public. Would anybody like to address the board? All righty. Seeing none, move on to item number 5.1, approval of the October 23rd, 2023 meeting minutes. Looking for a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. Move on to item number 6.1. Director Keene, if you need a bottle of water, let me know. You got a full page today.
There we go. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we have an all-day after-school program on Friday, December 22nd. Our winter break camp will be held at Smoke Tree Elementary School, December 26th through the 29th, and then January 2nd through the the kids won't be off that long. January 2nd through the 5th. Registration will begin on December 12th. The cost of the program is $41 for the first child and $32 for each additional child. The community dinner, the 20th annual community dinner, will take place on December 8th, and we'll have 2 seatings, 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. that will be held at the community center. Sledding with Santa will be held at the Tennell Memorial Skate Park on Friday, December 15th from 5 to 8 p.m. Our pool at the Aquatic Center is currently closed for our annual maintenance. That will be closed through December 10th and will reopen on Monday, December 11th. We do continue to have land exercise classes during the pool closure. Arizona Game and Fish will be running the pool as well on December 11th through the 15th. During that time, we'll have limited exercise classes in the soaker pool. The Havasu Stingray swim team will be holding a meet and holiday gathering on December 14th. On December 14th, we also have an after-school program swim. And then the pool will be closed on Monday, December 25th for Christmas. We'll have an additional open swim schedule while the kids are out of school, December 26th through the 28th. In the community center, some events coming up is the Women's Network Exchange of Arizona Shopping Extravaganza, December 2nd. The Lake Havasu High School Educational Tour Group Pasta Dinner Fundraiser, December 3rd. Again, the community dinner on December 8th with a 4 o'clock and a 6 o'clock seating. Eastern Star Bunko will be held on December 18th. The Arizona Collectibles Firearm Show will be December 30th and 31st. Lake Havasu Home and Garden Expo on January 6th and 7th. The Vitalent Blood Drive, January 8th through the 11th. And then a series of tribute concerts. Jimmy Buffett Tribute on January 12th. Toby Keith Tribute Concert, January 13th. Pink Floyd Tribute Concert, January 14th. Eastern Star Bunko, January 15th. A tribute to Foreigner will be held on January 19th. Creedence Clearwater Revival Tribute, January 20th, and Elton John Tribute, January 21st. Some events going on at the park. First Friday, we'll be having a food truck festival on Quarry McCulloch, December 1st. The Jingle Bell Walk will be held out at the Island Multi-Use Path December 2nd. The annual Christmas tree lighting will be held at Wheeler Park on December 3rd. The Rivers Riders Toy Run will be also on Main Street December 3rd. Starline performance at the London Bridge Beach Stage December 7th. The Hanukkah celebration under the London Bridge December 7th. The Boat Parade of Lights in the Bridgewater Channel December 9th. The Pickleball Jingle at Dick Sant Pickleball Courts on December 12th. Castle Valley Academy Christmas Concert will be held under the bridge December 17th. The Escapers Annual Bash will be held out at the Sarah Park Rodeo Grounds January 13th through the 21st. The Site 6 boat ramp replacement will begin this week, and the Island Path repaving project will begin next week. With that, I'll take any questions.
Great report. Thank you. Any questions for the director? Comments?
Okay. Mr. Keen, how many spots are available for the winter break camp?
You know, I don't have that number in front of
Oh,
me right now.
okay.
Sorry.
Okay. And it's only held at that one elementary school site?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And what are the escapers?
It's a group that travels the country. They kind of camp in vans type
Oh, okay.
type group.
Fun. Okay. Thank you.
Any questions? Comments? I just have a couple comments. I'll tell you the community dinner. Again, another great event for this community. I took part of it last year. Great job to all the city members and volunteers and stuff that make that happen. It's for those that haven't been or haven't volunteered, definitely take a look at it. It's a heck of an event. So the showing is amazing. So it's definitely a cool thing. I'll touch on the Arizona Game and Fish pool rental. Pretty cool event. I've got a little insight on that. The Arizona Game and Fish is actually hosting a officer water survival course at the pool, and they're going to have law enforcement officers from essentially the entire West Coast come, and they're going to teach them water survival tactics in the pool and how to survive if they were end up falling into the water or the ocean or wherever that agency is from. So it's pretty cool to see that brought to Lake Havasu, and Lake Havasu be the center of that operation and hosting that class for, again, around the entire West Coast, even some coming from as far as some of the East Coast areas. So definitely a cool thing. A couple things I know that you didn't mention, but there's going to be a lot of activity at the parks coming up. I do know that there's a handful of travel ball tournaments that are coming to the Lake Havasu area. So again, your staff's going to be busy, and we appreciate everything they do. Guy I know is here, and I thanked him, but the travel ball tournaments are amazing, good revenue for the city. And I know our community is pretty heavily involved in that too. So your staff is on it between all the events that are going on, the parades, and all this stuff coming up. Definitely tell them thank you from me. So. Any other final comments or questions?
I have a question. How could one volunteer for the community dinner?
The easiest way is to go online to our volunteer website or to the website www.lhcaz.gov and go to the volunteer section, and you would be able to check the community dinner portion.
Thank you.
Alrighty. We will move on to our public hearings. Let's start with item 7.1, discussion update regarding the downtown catalyst site. Director Keen.
Okay, thank you. So just to kind of update since our last meeting, the bids were sent out and received and opened on November 15th. We did receive one bid from Technology Construction out of Prescott, Arizona. Currently, our engineering staff and Dig Studios, the consultant hired to design it, are evaluating that bid. Also, there was quite a bit more interest originally in the project, and so they're reaching out to some of the other companies just to kind of see why maybe some of those bids were not entered. So that's kind of where we sit right now. I'm just evaluating that bid and checking on some of the other interest in the companies, and then we'll kind of see where our next steps lead from there.
Great. Questions, comments from the board? Okay. All right. This is a public hearing. Any questions or comments from the public? Go ahead, sir.
Doug Carr. So I guess that one bid was really high. So hopefully maybe it'll go back out to bid. I know I looked at the plans and the shade structures were pretty elaborate, I thought, just by looking at them. So hopefully they could probably redo something like that. But the one bid I seen was pretty high. So that's all I got to say on that. And hopefully they got a little bit more money for lights. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing, bring it back to the board. Final comments, questions? Okay. Easy, easy. Move on to item number 7.2, discussion, ideas to engage the community in naming the downtown Catalyst site. Director Key.
Okay, so we brought this item to the board last meeting, had a little bit of a discussion there on exactly what might be some ways to engage the public in naming this site. And so the concept was to come back into our November meeting here and everybody come up with an idea and bring it to the table to kind of find maybe final discussions on how we could engage the community in naming this property. So with that, I'll turn that back over to you.
Great. Thank you. All righty. Thoughts? Comments? Go ahead, Mr. Ross.
If I can get this on. As a stakeholder downtown and being in communication with the Main Street organization and gathering some input, I think the consensus, informally, we haven't gone out and canvassed anybody, but we can do that if it pleases the board, as to what the stakeholders in the downtown area feel a good name would be with the park. But one of the things that, and I previously had mentioned in terms of the park naming, I think it's a good idea, I think, to open it up to the public. But I think simplicity is probably maybe something we want to go with when it comes to the parks and identifying them. We had mentioned that most of the parks, not all of them, but the majority are just simply named where they're located, like Cypress and Yonder and a few others. And no offense to the Dick Sant Park, but if you don't know where the Dick Sant Park is, you have to go and look that up. There's the Robin Parrott Park. Anybody know where that's at? Probably not. Up in the foothills. So the general consensus downtown so far, and we have a young man that's here as part of the AmeriCorps program. His name's Noah. And we could send him on a mission to do some information gathering if it pleases the board. But I think the general consensus downtown is McCullough Park or Plaza Square. I'm not sure even if a park is appropriate for that area and that it's in a downtown area. A lot of parks in the downtown area, rather than being named a park, they're called a plaza or a square or something of that nature. So that's just a few thoughts I wanted to throw out to the board and get some input and some consideration in that regard. Maybe we want to have a larger outreach on this or not. I don't know, but my personal feeling is McCullough, who built this community, doesn't have a park named after him, and it happens to be on his street. So that's my comment in that regard. Thank you.
Yeah. Excellent comments for sure. Any other comments? Go ahead.
Well, now that you mention it, McCulloch Square does sound pretty nice. And that's my comment.
Great. Any other thoughts? Go ahead.
I do, and I think that's great, and I agree with it being a simple process, no need to make something more elaborate than necessary. I think that engaging the stakeholder groups is also a great way to go about it. And we have many other stakeholder groups who might have ideas and don't know that we're even having this conversation. So perhaps we can, in a condensed time frame, put something out and have groups share ideas. And I'll just throw out an idea, and then I'm not trying to suggest additional work for staff or anything like that. But if it's possible to just have a link on the website somewhere that people can answer survey questions, whether it's open-ended and everyone can just enter in a name, or perhaps it's suggestions we come up with and they choose from there, or maybe it's just a category that's we get input on, naming after a significant person, significant location, or something like that. But just a way to engage others in the process, not make it, like I said, doesn't need to be more elaborate than necessary. But it would be nice. Or I guess the other way around would work too. Maybe we somehow come up with a list, put them up, and then ask the community to vote. But either way, just some way to engage more people. Thanks.
Go ahead. Oh, I thought you turned it on. Okay.
No, I'll say, so one of the things that I was kind of thinking about is maybe this is more of a new, like, I don't know if this is something the newspaper would want to even get behind versus having the Parks and Rec committee, if the newspaper wants to run a contest or whatever they do, and then that's kind of, they come to us, or if there was some partnership there, that was kind of my idea.
Sure. Yeah. Any other comments? Again, this is, a discussion item for us. So I think, the more discussion, the better, to give staff a little bit of direction. So if you got an idea, throw it out there. Okay. I tend to agree a little bit. I think, Mr. Ross's idea of the McCulloch something, I think is my opinion, a great naming choice. Again, this isn't necessarily an action item for us, but I tend to agree. I mean, I think that, I think the simplicity of it, the location, it kind of hits the nail on the head. McCulloch Square is a little odd since it's a round design, but I understand it. But I definitely like the idea, and I do see the thoughts of maybe not having park in the name because, again, I don't know that it necessarily is a park. But I tend to agree a little bit with what Mr. Ross is saying. And I do like the idea that the stakeholders down there are getting polled a little bit, and that's the answers we're getting. So I'm on board with that. I guess just a little bit more direction, maybe for the director. Is there any other thoughts before we open it up to the public? Okay. All right, this is a public hearing. Would anybody like to address the board on this item? Come on up. No worries.
Do I press something or not?
Nope, you're good. Just pull it down towards your mouth and just say your name for the record.
Hi. When I first heard about this, probably about 6 months ago, I called Michelle Lynn, and I said, Michelle, I was thinking, because Pops...
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Can you just give your name for the record?
Oh, Barbara Ashambo.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
You have the spelling? You good?
Okay.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
And anyway, I said, there's parks everywhere. I said, back east, which I'm from Boston, and we had Boston Common. Every little town had a common in New England. And I said, it actually, the common got started in England. We have the London Bridge. It kind of links in with that. And so I was thinking, you could call it like Lake Havasu Common because it's a common area. If you look up the history of all of that. And that's basically what it's been used for right now. It's been used for all sorts of different things. And because it's the common area for the people. And as far as naming it like after McCulloch, he's already got a boulevard, and the fact that it is in the city, maybe you could call it City Common or something. I don't know, but she really liked the fact that it was a common. Nobody out here has a common. Kingman, I was up to Kingman checking out all their parks and everything else, and they were, some were splash ponds and some were this and some were that. You can go dizzy. And so once it gets established as that's a unique, there are plazas, there are, centers and everything else, but nobody has a common. And it links in with the London Bridge, with the English Village, with, I moved out here the year of the bicentennial. So London Bridge and the English Village was actually English, and it was a little village kind of thing, which it's, kind of, but anyway, that's my suggestion is, Lake Havasu Common, and it's singular. And we used to say, hey, you going down the common? Yeah, I'm going down the common. Kind of, we met at the common and you picnicked or you did whatever. Well, no, not whatever, but you did, anyway, family oriented and stuff like that. That's my suggestion.
Great. Yeah, great comments. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking your time to bring this to the board for sure. Anybody else?
Doug Carr. I like the Common, but I also do like McCulloch Plaza. This was my first thought all the time. And then Main Street Plaza. But I don't know, McCulloch Common. Yes. Okay, that's it.
Thank you. Alrighty. Nobody else? Okay. With that being said, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the boards for some final discussion. Thoughts? Ideas? Any more names? We have a little bit of direction, maybe opening up to the public a little more. Their thoughts or consensus on that? Director, you got what you need or you want a little more? What do you think?
No, I think we have some good suggestions, and I think with our last discussion of just opening up and gathering names, we're going to get all kinds of them, and at some point we would need to go to whittle that down to 4 or 5 or whatever, and put that out onto a public website or some way for the community to be able to give us their feedback on that. So I think that's kind of what we've really hit at there, with some already suggested names that we would be able to put out. So I think we have some information that would be valuable to bring back to conversations with city manager, and he can have with council on exactly the direction they want to go with that.
Great. Awesome. Alrighty. There's nothing further, and we're moving through it quick. We'll move on to item number 8, future discussion items. Would anybody like to add an item for future discussion?
Let's go back to 7.3.
Oh, I missed it. I put a check mark next to it. You're right. See? I'm so excited to get done in 21 minutes. All right, we'll move back to item 7.3. Item 7.3, discussion of the field upgrade process. Director King, thank you.
Sure. Thank you. So out at Dixant Park, the leveling of the infield and some additional dirt work and sod work has been completed. Crews are out at Sarah Park currently, leveling some of the infields, removing some of the sod to create warning tracks. We're also installing portable fencing for the Triple Crown tournaments that are coming. There will be one this weekend that will solely utilize Sarah Park, and then next weekend with the Parade of Lights, they'll be using Dixant Park, Rotary Park, as well as Sarah Park. So they really use every field that we have available to them. So we're prepping for those and really trying to make a great showing for them with some of the upgraded to the fields. So once we get the infields addressed and some of the additional turf, again, installing warning tracks and that, we'll start with some of the cosmetic upgrades to the dugouts and the crow's nests and those types of pieces to just kind of increase that curb appeal there at those amenities. Out at the Island football field, shortly here we will be installing the new goalposts. So you'll be seeing the old ones come down and new ones going up in the next couple months there. So we wanted to wait till the football season was complete, just so that we weren't interrupting anything there. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Great. Questions or comments on this item? I promise I'm not in that much of a rush. You guys can talk about this. Again, looking great. You got your staff's doing amazing. It's cool to see everything happening in house. And again, being a user, I'm seeing them on a daily basis, and the staff is out there on a daily basis keeping these things up. Especially being at Dixamp as regularly as I am. I mean, the field is amazing to play on, so the kids are loving it. And like you said, the Triple Crown tournament that's coming, that Parade of Lights, again, is a nationally known tournament. I mean, we're talking teams from all over the country that come to play here in Lake Havasu. And, we hear a lot of positive comments about our fields. We really do. So I'm excited to see what they say when they come around and they see some of this new stuff that's been done. but that Triple Crown tournament, like I said, is a huge event, and it kind of tails into that Parade of Lights. They literally schedule the entire weekend of games around that Parade of Lights, so the teams play during the day at our amazing fields and facilities, and then they come and all watch the Parade of Lights in the evening at our Bridgewater channel and see the awesome Londa Bridge. And I mean, the stories you hear and some of the social media groups I'm part of, I mean, they talk it up. It's just amazing to hear. So really cool. Definitely good improvements coming. So again, your superintendent and all your staff's doing a killer job. Any other comments? Okay, this is a public hearing. Would anybody like to address the board on this item?
Again, Doug Carr. I see our field and courts just got down to fields, so it's time to put courts back in there. But anyways, talk about Dick Samp. We just got a big storage container shipped out there today, and so the pickleball have their own storage now. There'll be 3 containers out at Dick Samp. And thanks to Guy and his crew, leveled it off and looks great. They're also going to start in the parking lot, putting some more concrete down for curbing. And they're not ready to put the asphalt down yet, but there'll be some parking for Little League and pickleball, and it'll still be down the road down to Avalon. Hopefully, it won't be too bad. And then pretty soon we'll be getting some more concrete and more shade structures at the pickleball court, and working with the city. And then we're buying the shade structures, the association, to do that. And I don't know if you guys are going to have a meeting next month or not, but then the next month will be in January. And then that's the start of the budget process for the following CIP budget for the following year. And so I think it's time to start talking about lights. And if I need to, I could pack the room, but I don't think it's necessary. So maybe at the next meeting we can put lights for pickleball on the agenda. And we do have now $65,000 to put to lights for Dick Samp. So I really don't think the city's going to need much except to get it going. They need to, get an estimate and get some plans drawn up and figure out how to put lights up there for the pickleball courts. And it would be nice to light up the new parking lot and then 8 courts, but we know that's not going to happen. But unless you get more ball fields up there, then we can do that. So if you guys would start raising money for more ball fields up there, then we could really light it, or maybe even a soccer field up there at Dick Samp. But there's plenty of room up there. So any questions for me?
Go ahead.
Just a comment, just appreciation for the Pickleball Association and the continuous
What's that?
giving. Just wanted to say that I appreciate the Pickleball Association and the fundraising and what a welcoming community it is. I'm always
Right.
hearing people are trying it for the first time. They go out there and they're always welcomed and people are willing to give them lessons.
I mean, there's so many different levels of play. You can be never played and play over here, and someone will help you out and then move up. And then
Sure.
if you get competitive, then you can go over there. And then we just have our turkey trot to where we raised $1,200 for the food bank. And then we paid the city to use the courts to do that for a fundraiser for the community. And the Jingle Bell is also another fundraiser for a family, or it used to be. So I'm not actually what's happening this year, but it used to be we would find a family in need and raise money for that family every year. So, it'd be almost done. And then I can skate off into the sunset. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody else like to address the board on this item? Okay, seeing none, close the public hearing, bring it back to the board for comments, questions.
Just another comment,
Yeah,
Mr.
go
Chair.
ahead.
I do think that the location of that park and the high usage of it would make it a great priority for lights for the courts and for the baseball fields. It's kind of on the outskirts. It's not interfering with anyone's view line of the lake anyway, and it's heavily used. That's all.
Great. I tend to agree. I mean, I echo Ashley's statements overall, even her statements to Mr. Carr. I mean, I think the Pickleball Association is kind of the definition of partnering with the city. You know, there's some other organizations I think can definitely help and do more. You know, being part of a couple organizations that are trying to do the best they can to see pickleball and their sponsors and the way they fundraise to get, you know, the best fields and the best courts and the best things they can for the city is amazing. And again, all it does is benefit the community. So thank you to you and the Pickleball Association. And I think that, you know, we could do it. Obviously, you know, it's up to the director and the city manager and city staff to figure it out. But I definitely agree that, you know, I would support putting lights there. I think it's you know, an overall multi-use facility, and it, you know, again, it looks amazing. You go out there and it's definitely those courts are nice for sure. So yeah, I would definitely support that as well. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Am I good to move on to number 8 now? All right. Move on to item number 8, future discussion items. Would anybody like to add an item to the future meetings? Yes, sir.
We've been talking about the parks, and I'm curious about something. I don't know if this might be a future discussion item we can have in regards to electric vehicles and charging stations. Havasu is really behind the ball, in my opinion, in having a fast charging station in the community. There is not one. The only public, well, it's not even public unless you're staying at the Heat Hotel. There's a charging station there. The Nissan dealership has a charging station, and they've upgraded that to a level 3, which is a fast charging station, which is great. But I was just wondering if, as a future discussion item, if possibly this park downtown might be a good location to provide a facility for those that are running these electric vehicles coming to Havasu to visit. The first thing they do is check, is there a public charging station? If not, see you later, I'm gone, on down I-40 to Kingman or wherever their next opportunity is to charge those batteries up. And one of the concerns that we've heard in the past about the downtown park plaza is, how is it going to be used on a daily basis? And I think by having an electric charging station in the downtown area would be a boost to business, as well as supporting the park plaza downtown. And maybe we could put that on an item to discuss further. I think maybe Vice Mayor David Layden would want to address that we have a grant officer now. I don't know if they're looking into grants that are available now. And we've had our liaison downtown, again, Kona, looking into this a bit, and he's doing some homework on it. And I would be able to bring up more information back later on that, but maybe we should put that on a future discussion item.
Sure. So I'm hearing
you.
maybe installation of electric vehicle chargers. Does that kind of sum it up there, Mr. Ross?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
I would just need a second, unless you have a comment, sir.
Thank you. No, I was just going to make a comment. He kind of asked me a question, but I can't talk about it because it's not on the agenda. So I'm not so sure that electric vehicle charging stations are under the purview of the Parks and Recs Advisory Committee. I understand your point of view that it might bring people to the parks. But I mean, if you guys want to put it on the agenda, that's totally up to you. And I can't discuss it any further than that here. So.
Sure. And I agree. I think we're maybe walking the borderline, but I see your tie into it. So I guess I would just need a second. We need a second? Okay. Last call for a second? Okay. Dies for lack of second. Any further future discussion items?
Mr. Chair. I don't think this is a discussion item, but maybe just a request to include in a staff report item. Because the board didn't come to any kind of consensus on and we didn't we kind of went off agenda topic a little bit about naming the downtown catalyst sites. So maybe just I'm curious what are going to be the next steps, and if we could, and I think it'd be nice to just shoot it in an email to us, but I think more of a relay back to the community. So it's just simply a request. I don't know if we need a second for that.
I think council's wishes on that item from the beginning was engaging the community in some way, shape, or form. So we will definitely respond to that and get that back out.
Thanks.
We don't need any further on that then? Something, okay. Any other future discussion items? No? Okay. All right. We will move on to future meeting dates.
Our December 25th meeting has been canceled, and we will meet on January 22nd, 2024.
All righty. Any last comments, final thing for the good of the order? Okay. That being said, have a good night, everybody. Enjoy your holidays, and thanks for coming.